New research is out showing taking a break from social media can help with depression and anxiety. But for some, scrolling, swiping, and sharing already has a strong hold on their mental health. Joining us now is mental health and addiction specialist Dr. Donna Marks, who is the author of Exit the Maze, One Addiction, One Cause, One Solution, with how to know when it's time to get help. Welcome to Bloom.
Thank you so much for having me on. I'm really delighted.
Well, I'm delighted to have you too, because this is such an important subject. Because for some, they jump on social media and they see what their friends are doing and what they've been up to. But for others, just these images can be very triggering. Can you talk to me about that?
Yes, well, there's different kinds of images that can trigger people for different reasons. If someone's suffering from an unhealed trauma and they have PTSD, they're going to be more triggered than people who aren't. But even people who are just looking at things that are being said about them, people who are being criticized by their friends, the mean girls thing, or who's with who and what are they doing and I didn't like what they wear, that can really trigger people severely as well.
Yeah, people can be so harsh because then they can hide behind their own screen and be so vicious, whereas if they had to say that to somebody's face, they probably wouldn't do it. So at what point do you know that you need help? And I understand that there are support groups out there for people that are suffering.
Yes, absolutely. There are support groups. All you have to do is Google support groups and you'll see all kinds of support groups, and then you can look for your specific issue. But what people can do is recognize that they're really upset. Sometimes people get, I've specialized in addictions, and social media can be very addictive as well. And even though it's hurting me and even though I don't like it, I'm compelled to keep looking at it. So the symptoms would be that I'm anxious, I'm not sleeping, I'm talking about it all the time, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling really like, devalued. And so those are signs that you need to get some additional support if you can't stop it on your own.
And that means maybe talking to a professional like yourself, somebody that can help guide you through it. And when people come to you, what kind of advice do you give them?
Well, I tell them to stop, like any other addiction, and if they can't stop looking at social media, at least stop looking at the things that are triggering you. Some people are really triggered by things they're seeing in the Ukraine war, especially if they're a vet. Some people are triggered by politics. I had one patient who was really triggered by a female politician because it reminded her of her mother. So just stay off those pages for at least for a while until you feel yourself again. And then be able to look at other things that make you feel good. There's lots of feel-good things on social media. And also be the change that you want. Post positive things about yourself. Post positive things about other people. Bring people into more of a light consciousness than focusing on all the dark things.
So those are really great ideas. And to your point, there are ways, like I don't know how to use TikTok so well, but I love little animal videos. They always cheer me up. Yes. And the more you like them and the more you look at it, the more it starts to get those images and push them through your feed. It's almost, of course, they know what you like, and that's what they'll push through your feed. So I like that as a way to kind of crawl your way out of depression or anxiety. And we just had a story earlier on Bloom talking about how scientists asked a group of people to get rid of their social media for 1 week, which would be a big ask for a lot of us. But it did show that how much it improved depression, anxiety, and it just was better for their overall well-being. Why do you think that is? You just think we're just flooded with too much negativity?
Well, I don't think it's just negativity. I think it's more of an addiction when someone cannot stay off of it and they're constantly on it. They're getting fed something. They're getting something out of that. So it's important, to say, I do need to give this up for a while and focus on things that make me feel good, not things that are getting me all stirred up or even, excited, because we need downtime, we need calm time, we need Zen time, we need time with family, we need time to accomplish other things. So balance is the key here, to be able to remain balanced. And if you're not, then get some help.
And I know this is something that affects people of all ages, but you said something earlier that really kind of sparked my interest. You talked about, people lashing out and making comments. And I think with today's youth, that's a real issue. It's a way that, they could use this medium to bully others. And so what kind of signs should we be looking for our children and maybe our loved ones that are adults, that they might be experiencing something that's triggering them, and this is having a negative impact on their lives.
So parents who are tuned into their children notice the mood changes, and while teenagers naturally have certain mood changes because they're going through all kinds of hormonal changes, we can usually tell something's bothering them. They get really quiet, they stay in their room, you see them on the phone constantly, or they'll be crying or they'll be angry. So then we want to guide them and say, you know, you don't want these little messages and these small thoughts defining who you are as a person.
Gotcha.
What do you like about yourself? Do you feel like you're a good person? Well, so-and-so says that I'm not, but do you want to give all that power over how you feel about yourself over to Susie or Becky or Jim?
Yeah.
Or do you want to know that you are a good person and that none of that is true? Do you want to focus on what's not true about you, or do you want to focus on what's true about you?
That's beautiful
and
advice.
Start posting positive things about other people, even if they're not nice, you know,
I love
because
it.
then you're changing the narrative once again.
Well, Dr. Marks, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure catching up with you.
Thank you very much for having me.
And to find out more about Dr. Marks, just head to WFLA.com/Bloom. We're going to be back with more Bloom right after this, so don't go away.